Hello, Scots Nation. I'm Heath Dunkel, the voice of the Scots, and this is TartanTalk, where each episode we'll sit down with a member of the Scots family and we'll have a conversation. With me today, the head coach of the Maryville College football team, head coach Ben Fox. Coach, thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thrilled to be here.
Excited to have you here on TartanTalk. The first thing I want to talk about with you, Coach, is take a little bit of a rewind and talk about, for those who maybe don't know, your background that led you to Maryville College.
Yeah, I'm originally from East Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up outside of Johnson City, a community called Gray, Tennessee. I grew up, my mom's dad was a dairy farmer. So I grew up working, helping my granddad on his dairy farm, and my dad was the athletic director and dean of students at Milligan College. So I kind of grew up around the rhythm of small college and private liberal arts college. I played Division III football. I played at Washington University in St. Louis. Had a chance to do that, which was a lot of fun. And really, you know, I wanted to play college football, and I had a chance to do that and had a blast doing it. And kind of careers take you a bunch of different ways, but I left, and when I left WashU, I GA'd up in Rhode Island at a school called Bryant University, and through a connection I had on staff there, after I was done being a GA and was a restricted earnings coach, and I was like, man, I would like to get married and like kind of have a life and have a real job. He knew Coach Turk at Huntingdon, and that's how I kind of got connected down there. Coach Rader was coming up here to take over the job at Maryville, and I replaced him at Huntingdon and worked with Coach Turk for 5 years, and then left there and got the office coordinator job at Center. And I've said this, I think both of those experiences at Huntingdon and at Center uniquely prepared me to come back here. You know, I learned a ton about how to get the team ready to play and what, you know, a great college football experience can be at Huntingdon, and how we coach the guys really hard. And I've told people this all the time. I became kind of the coach I wanted to be, and how to talk to the players and hold them accountable and love them and all those things. Kind of learned a lot of those things from Coach Turk. And then I really learned how to run a program at Center. And because of the age of the program, they've been playing for so long. It's just like here. I mean, we played for 123 years. And so that gives us and gave me a good experience with, you know, the immediate day-to-day of the team, how to really run a program. I got to come back and start recruiting East Tennessee. You know, it's funny. Coach Hunt and I laugh about this all the time, but the very first visit I went on in East Tennessee, I went to Maryville High School. Coach Hunt had just gotten the job. He'd just gotten named head coach. He was still at Montgomery Ridge teaching math. I had to go follow him over there. And he said, I was the first college coach that ever came to see him. So we kind of bonded, and it was it's funny. And it was obviously a place I kept an eye on, because we had seen from a couple different places what it's like when you're good, and how it can be, and what it's like at Maryville, and how people love football in this community and love football at the school, and the opportunity to come here and a chance to come back to East Tennessee. I've got extended family that have lived here, and my wife has extended family that have been here. And so it was just really a good natural fit for us.
Well, and you talk about that Maryville College connection too, Coach Hunt.
Yeah.
At Maryville, a Maryville College grad. You also look at Coach Nix at Alcoa as well,
Absolutely.
another Maryville College guy, and two successful programs as well at the high school level. But Coach, you talked about learning how to run a program.
Yep.
But you learned how to run a program in a kind of a regular season or regular situation. But what you stepped into wasn't regular. You walked into a situation in the midst of the pandemic. So that's kind of really what leads me to my next question for you is, you know, what were the challenges you faced in establishing a culture, building relationships, and building that foundation in the middle of COVID-19?
Yeah, you know, I think the craziest thing, and it's really bizarre to think that we actually did it, but we walked in and we got hired, and our first team meeting was on Zoom. So I'm trying to lay out expectations for what our first team meeting is on Zoom. I'm living in the basement of my aunt's house. And driving, because my wife was a school teacher. She didn't move. My daughter was in pre-K, but wanted her to finish the school year. So she was doing that and still in Kentucky. And so we were just kind of all ball, and we had obviously the regulations and having to be on the guys about wear your mask and you've got to get tested and stick this up your nose and twist it 3 times and let's see if you're positive. And man, I don't know if we're going to have anybody that can play. And, you know, you get the wrong guys get sick, and then it would run through the room. I think we had 2 or 3 games get canceled that spring. And you never want to walk in somewhere and have a team meeting and then immediately go out to practice like 2 weeks later and then play 2 weeks after that. That's crazy. You don't want to do that. That we did it, and I couldn't believe we won a game. I didn't think we would win any. Just we hadn't had time to do anything. But we had good players. We had good kids, and they liked being here. And I'm glad that we did it, and we were able to do something for those guys that were seniors. And you know, it was everybody was kind of uncertain and didn't really know, and so the games were pretty gross. I mean, there was some bad football getting played by everybody in the country, but they were competitive and fun. And I mean, that first win, I'll never forget Bo Herring getting that pick and running back for a touchdown against North Carolina Wesleyan to win that game. And that was a lot of fun. And then we had a huge win here. We beat Averett here to finish 2-2. And that was a really special win to get to do that. And, you know, it was good. I think leading into that fall of 21, we tried to do right by the guys who were going to be seniors on that team. A bunch of those, especially on our defense, a lot of those players were fifth-year players that were really loyal to this place and kind of hung around when they didn't need to, and tried to do right by them. I wish we could have won more games that first fall for them, but you know, I think it's interesting. I hope they feel connected, and all those guys that were seniors on that 21 team feel connected to the success that we're enjoying here, because a lot of the freshmen on that 21 team, they were seniors last year, and they got to experience a lot of hard. They saw what practice was like and learn a lot, and they were great leaders. I mean, I think about guys like Jordan Lacey and guys like Tyler Bost and Alex Mace and Jonathan Harris and Devon White, and those guys were all on that team. They were all on that team. Tanner Dyer was on that team. You know, Trent Colburn was on that team. And those games were hard, man. There was a lot of hard for those guys. And I think that they learned a ton. And so it was a lot of fun. And I hope to never have to do it again. I don't think anybody would want to do it again. So, yeah, there's that.
Well, you know, Coach, sometimes in the midst of obstacles comes the greatest opportunity, and that's what happened with your team. And you've taken that program, you figured it out, and you've taken them now. You look 5 seasons later, and you've built this program into one that has increased their win total every single season. It's got the 3rd playoff appearance in Scots history and the 1st win in the playoffs in Scots history as well. So you've taken them now to higher heights. You've built a successful program. Now the question is, how do you maintain it?
Yeah, how do you do it again? You know, I told our players, I said, look, all the 17 wins in the last 2 years are great. All I did was change the expectations. I said, a lot of you guys now, and a lot of our players now that were in high school or freshmen and didn't really know, kind of insulated, they don't realize that in 22 when we won 5 games, we were just really competitive in the games that we lost. Everybody was happy because of where we come from. But now the expectation is to do more. We've got opportunities to do more. I think we've got a good team, and so it's continuing to grow and improve. I think we try to focus on the stuff that we can control, and there's a lot of other factors, right? But the best thing that we've done is get the right people in the building, the right coaches, the right players, and they believe and they're about the things that we're about. And the coaches all are in agreement. We want to have a kingdom impact on our players. We want to leave this place better than we found it. And we want to continue to help them improve. And I think the players understand that it's their job to prepare and then go perform. And they work really hard, and they love football. And I think that is these teams have been fun to coach because they all love football and they all signed up for this experience that they're getting.
Talked about getting the right people in the door, especially when it comes to the players.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit more about now in this era of NIL and transfer portal, what challenges that has kind of you faced and how have you been able to overcome them?
Yeah, you know, the NIL landscape honestly is not really something that we personally had to deal with. Maybe some schools do. We have not. The transfer portal has a little bit. And so for us, it's identifying people that believe in the message of our program. What's nice about small college and Division III is that it's more similar to what probably old people are used to, like me, like the old guys are used to about what you think about college, that we can still use. I look at it this way. The professors that the guys have in college, that they have in class, they're teaching a subject of math or science or whatever, but they're really teaching commitment, sacrifice, grit. They're just using biology to do it. Yeah. Football becomes the lab portion of that educational experience because they get to go out and practice, hands-on practice of commitment, sacrifice, and grit. They learn what that is. Mm-hmm. At our level, we still get to be that fully integrated academic athletic model that most people, that doesn't exist in a lot of other places anymore. And so that's exciting. Mm-hmm. We are able to get guys that want that. Now, we kind of cut off on the front end about, this is what your expectations are going to be when you get here. And I'll say this too, I think a lot of people at higher levels that have never coached small college football don't understand how you have to really treat the kids. You have to have a relationship with them. They're volunteers. It's a volunteer army. This is a militia. They ain't getting paid. And so now they have freedom of movement at higher levels, and you can't just talk crazy to them and treat them bad, or they're out of there. Yeah. And so I think as long as the players see value in what's happening, that you're creating value for them, helping them improve as players, mm-hmm. helping them grow in their spiritual life, helping them prepare them to be husbands and fathers, and helping them be prepared to get a job, they see the value added in that, they'll stay. They want to stay as long as they continue to improve.
Coach, now you are moving into a new conference, the SAA. I want you to talk to me a little bit about kind of the excitement and expectation of moving into that new conference mm-hmm. for your team, and then a little bit about what the team you have coming back looks like and how you're feeling about entering with this group.
Yeah, I'll say we're excited because joining the SAA, this is a chance for us to play our traditional rivals. Mm-hmm. I think that's what's probably the most exciting for me is when you look at just the history of Division III football in the South. There's Rhodes has played for a long time, Sewannee's played for a long time, and Center's played for a long time, and Maryville's played for a long time. And now we're all in the same conference together as it should have been for a long time. And that's who we've traditionally played the most. That's who our older alumni really care about. And they're comparable schools to us, academically, academic profile, who we are, the kids we recruit against. And those rivalries are old and they're intense. And we're excited to get back in the conference. I think it's going to create an incredible college football experience for our players. They're going to get to fly every year, which is neat. And, I'm just really, next year I counted, we'll play in 6 different states next year. That's pretty special. It's really special. And so I'm happy to be able to help deliver an even greater experience to our players, that they're going to get to do a lot of fun stuff. And the league's going to be really challenging. There's a lot of good teams. I think that the difference in the SAA between the conference champion and the team that comes in last is probably as small as any league in the country. That there are no games that are just a crazy score of 70-7 within the conference. Those don't exist in this conference. And so we have to be prepared every week. Everybody has good players. Everybody has good coaches. Everybody cares. And so I think it's exciting. The competitor in you is excited about that. And we know that teams that come out of this league that get in the national playoffs are good enough to win games. And that's exciting for us too, right? Yeah. That's exciting for us. We know that, it's going to be really challenging, but you'll be prepared. If we do the things we're capable of doing and reach our full potential and win the games we can win, then, hey, we get in the playoffs, we can win games mm-hmm. and not be surprised.
Yeah, iron sharpens iron, right?
Exactly.
And I think the exciting thing too is when you look at your program is you kind of get a head start on a lot of the Maryville College teams around here because they still got one more year in the CCS where you all kind of got to leapfrog that. Instead of going to that conference, you're from the USA South. Now you're moving straight into that. So you'll get a head start. Other teams will kind of get to watch what that looks like for you all and get to slowly experience some of those new programs and new teams that they'll be seeing each and every year. And so, Coach, now I lead you to my last question here. Reverend Isaac L. Anderson, his motto was, do good on the largest possible scale. So I want to ask you, how do you do good on the largest possible scale?
I think the way that we're able to do that at Maryville College is we hold true to what our vision is for the program. Mm-hmm. We want to make playing football at Maryville College one of the most incredible experiences of our players' lives as we help them pursue Christ, pursue a degree, pursue the conference championship, and pursue the national championship. And we've been able to attract young men that want all of it. And we don't hide who we are, and this is exactly what it's going to be. And I think the network that we're able to build out of our players, our hope and my hope in the program is that the players we produce are who our female sport coaches are praying their girls marry. Mm-hmm. That they know exactly what we're going to be. They're going to be hard workers. Their yes is yes and no is no, and be the kind of men that leave the place better than they found it. And we've been pretty close so far. We got a lot of work to do, but I'm just really happy and honored to be the head coach here and enjoy doing it, and proud of this team.
Coach, I'm honored to have you on my first episode of Tartan Talk. I appreciate your time.
Absolutely,
Thank
brother.
you very much.
Thank you very much.
It was a pleasure. And guys, thanks so much for watching.
Go Scots!
Go Scots!